Written by Dr.Yaşam Ayavefe.
Cybersecurity factors. A consistent and integrative security approach. IT and telecommunications infrastructures have vulnerabilities. In addition, vulnerable products continue to be marketed, and the expertise of attackers and the number of cyber attacks are constantly increasing. There is no effective partnership between the private and public sectors with the will and responsibility of all actors. At this point, any security measure, whether technological or legal, will only constitute a partial approach. Therefore, it will be insufficient and ineffective. It is misleading to think that technological or legal solutions will compensate for errors in IT and telecom design and management or misuse of technologies at the strategic, tactical, or operational level. Creating an effective response. It is necessary to prevent and deter cyber attacks by developing justice and investigation mechanisms. However, it remains important to determine the measures that will enable to react to the attacks and to prosecute the perpetrators in security policies. Fighting computer crime is often part of a response and prosecution process. This is done after the appearance of an allegation reflecting the failure of protective measures. In practice, there is a problem of ratio, in particular between the costs of the measures and the effects of potential crimes, and between the response times of inspectors and the time to restore working contexts. Investigators and security managers respond to different operating logics and objectives at different time scales. Therefore, it is important to design and implement continuity plans and backup plans that include constraints on the investigation and prosecution of computer crimes. For this reason, organizations' security managers should be made aware of the constraints of a police investigation. This measure only makes sense when facts are actually reported to the courts, which need to be systematized. The state should therefore encourage reporting of cybercrime-related attacks and build trust between the various players in the economic world and the justice and police agencies. Engineering and management. Beyond the necessary dimension of security engineering, the latter is first and foremost an act of management. The effectiveness of security mostly depends on the quality of its management and the people responsible for it. To reduce security to its technological dimension is to ensure its failure. In addition, relying on predetermined security rules, regulations, or market-leading products without verifying that they conform to the organization's needs can jeopardize the security mission. Applied security measures tend to protect a particular environment in a particular context. However, it cannot prevent the conduct of criminal activities via the Internet in any way. These are favored by several factors. Characteristics of cybercrime: ability to be automated, know-how embedded in software, remote execution. Cybercriminal extortion of legitimate users' identity easily and without undue risk, thereby eliminating the ability of justice to identify the true perpetrators of a crime. Identification of surveying skills. Lack of human and material resources in services responsible for computer crime suppression. The transnational nature of cybercrime, which requires frequent recourse to international cooperation and mutual legal assistance. The second includes time constraints that are incompatible with the speed with which attacks are carried out, and the need for immediate recovery of computer systems affected by cyber attacks. Difficulty in characterizing facts according to specific criminal legislation. Presence of digital havens, countries without laws criminalizing cybercrime. The ill-defined nature and variability of most computers. In addition to the legal dimension directly related to the threat of a crime, the organization must be mindful of respecting the protection of the personal data of its customers, suppliers, or partners as well as its employees. Legislation on the processing of personal data and the protection of private space also requires, in particular, the management of user data, the monitoring of communications and employees, the management of backups and the automatic processing of personal data. Various directives from the European Parliament and the European Council since 1981 address these issues and emphasize respect for fundamental rights. Absolutely non-professional misuse of by employees is a source of new threats to the organization. Data leak risks, disclosure of information on social networks, promotion of malware, misuse of organizational resources, etc. Not to mention the loss of productivity, This can lead to safety issues and potentially call into question the civil or criminal liability of the company and the employee.
Written by Dr. Yaşam Ayavefe.